There's dirt in the rice?
Yeah, where do you think rice comes from? Genuine question.
Rice? Wait, I don't want to sound stupid. What's up and welcome back to Unusual Chatter Podcast, episode number 8. Like I said, we are on a new set for the next couple episodes. Yes, we are out here in LA. So we got a guest joining us today. I'm pretty excited about this guest. This guest is a film director. He's a dog dad. He happens to be my brother-in-law, and I can't wait to talk to him and get to know him more. So let's get him out here. Paul Caraba. What's with you and Kayla both? Kayla was this. You was.
I'm ready to rock.
This is gonna be an interesting one. I can tell. This is gonna be an interesting one.
Can't see my face right now.
Well, this is her life, and we're just living in it.
It's me. I'm half man, half Sheba.
Like I said, if you guys didn't watch our previous episode 7 with my sister Kayla, this is Mochi, their dog. She is the queen of the house, and we're just living in her world. So she'll be in and out of the frame. Just enjoy her presence. Anyways, continuing on. Paul, name, age, and marital status.
Name, Paul Caraba.
Okay.
Age, 30.
Hey,
Marital
30.
status, married.
Okay. And who are you married to?
Mochi.
Okay.
No, my beautiful wife, Kayla. You've already interviewed her. I think her episode has already come out.
Yes, her episode has come out. And she happens to be my sister. Yes. So, that's amazing. Yes. How long?
That makes us brothers-in-law.
Brothers-in-law?
Yeah.
Brothers.
It's kind of like Bad Boys.
Okay.
Brothers-in-law.
Brothers.
In-law.
Okay.
Term.
You know what? We're going to move forward. We're just going to move forward. I'm not going to start with you. What is something you do for a living?
Something I do for a living.
Or what do you do for a living? Sorry.
Currently, I guess the funny answer is I convince people to pay me money to film them.
Okay.
I guess the real answer is that, yeah, I do a little bit of everything. Right now I'm doing a lot of YouTube content for influencers and creators and people in the space and helping them film their content. I work for like a handful of brands. Sometimes I'm the director of photography, in charge of the crew, managing everything that you see kind of on the front of the camera. So it's lights, sound, camera. And then sometimes I'm the assistant. Sometimes I'm the camera operator. So I kind of bounce around.
Who's one of the coolest people you've gotten to work with?
One of the coolest people that I've gotten to work with. One of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
That's
I got to work with, and hold on, give me a second because I'm blanking out on his name. Dominic Monaghan. He is one of, I don't remember if he's Merry or Pippin. But they are like the two like other hobbits that aren't Frodo and Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is like a crazy gamer apparently. Like over COVID, he like really got into playing games and streaming. And one of the like professional gaming teams that I do a lot of work for, I guess he reached out and was like, "Hey, I want to play games with your pro players."
Interesting. What's actually funny is I went to the set for where they shot the Hobbit
in
Australia, New Zealand,
New Zealand, I think, right?
One of the two.
Yeah.
One of there. It was literally epic. Like to see where they shot it and all that. Like it was beautiful. First of all,
did you go to the like the house?
Yeah, I went to the house. They trick you. It's not like a house. Like you walk in. Like,
right.
It's literally just a door that opens and then it's a brick wall. It's like just a brick wall. I'm like, wait a second.
You should change the podcast name to Unusual Chatter. Just drop the ER and put an A. And then start doing like some London shows. Or like Toronto Tings.
But why? Like,
Unusual Tings.
Like why? For what? What's the reason?
It's in right now. Big ups, tings, combination.
You're going to have a lot of people.
Seen that Drake clip?
No, I have not.
Some good tings, some bad tings.
Wait, speaking of, okay, what do you think about social media?
Is that cultural appropriation? Can I say that?
I don't know.
Combination.
I don't think you can. There's going to be a lot of people out here like, hold on, white boy. They really are.
Jack Harlow can do it.
Jack Harlow is...
The Island Boys do it. I'm an island boy.
No, Island Boys need to go sit down. I'm sorry. They're too much.
Do you know BLP Kosher?
Who? Why do you know all these people? Why do you know all these people? What's that?
Look them up.
Who?
BLP Kosher.
BLP Kosher?
From your hometown. It's from South Florida.
I don't know if I'm scared what I'm going to find looking up BLP Kosher.
He's a vibe.
You're into rap?
Yeah.
I'm
into music in general, except for country. Sorry, Beyoncé.
Oh, wow. Beyonce trying to make waves right now. You're not.
She was already a tidal wave. She didn't need to make more waves. We didn't need more Beyonce waves.
So you don't agree with the Beyonce country album?
It's not that I don't agree with it. I just don't think it's making waves.
Interesting. I think differently.
Do I think that this is Beyonce's most talented representation or best representation of her talent? No. You might get like crazy beehive people like
100%. I already know exactly who's going to be in the comments. I'm waiting for this.
Like I said, I don't. It is very obvious and clear that Beyonce is like a once in a generation talent.
Yes,
that is not
100%.
That is not a question whatsoever. But if you were to play somebody in a room this album or Lemonade, there would be a very clear distinction as to what they think had more heart in it. I feel like personally, strictly opinion. I think that what you're saying is true with this album. And I think that there was the same with Renaissance as well.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be the same with whatever her next album is. That she is trying to, one, open a lot of doors for a lot of people. And two, I think once you become an artist, I've never been an artist that big, so maybe this is just me being assumptuous, but once you become an artist that big for the thing that you do the most, you just want to try different things. And so why not try different things with a purpose?
Yeah.
So, like, I appreciate her doing this more than I appreciate Drake doing whatever Drake is doing right now.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like if that is the true reasoning behind why she is doing these, like, genre albums and having them in, like, 3 parts, I think that that's really cool.
So then you think it's cool. I was going to say, because you said that Lemonade had more heart behind it.
It felt like it did.
Okay, so you don't feel like this album has heart. What do you feel like?
It's not that I don't feel like it has heart. I just don't feel like it has as much heart as her previous work did.
Okay.
In her trying to prove something.
So
I feel like there's like a grit. There's like a grime to like when an artist is putting out their first few projects.
Yeah.
Or when they go through something.
I was just about to say,
right?
I feel like it's because she went through it.
Right. So she went through something, and she was writing about that thing that she was going through.
Yeah.
This album feels like it is more of like, and Renaissance felt like this too, where it kind of felt like I'm having fun, I'm trying something different, but I'm also trying to take back something culturally, right? But it didn't feel like it had emotion in it the same way that previous stuff did. It could also be that I don't like country music, right?
Yeah.
But like, I guess I like dance music and I like house music and I like electronic music.
Yeah.
And I felt like I didn't like Renaissance as much as I should have. It's got some bops on it.
Yeah.
What's that one? What's that one? We run the world. No, that's old.
I was about to say, that is not Renaissance, please, stupid. There's
one song on there that's like got a dude on it. Comfortable. Comfortable? Yeah. It's got hooks, right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel like the hooks have
like grit, like that punch.
But maybe that's just what I want.
And
that's different, you know?
You want that not hurt Beyonce, but like that attitude that
I just want her to talk that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you share a memorable moment from the industry? like that you've had in the industry, in the film industry?
Memorable moment.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one of the most memorable moments recently, which has been a lot of fun. I entered into a 48-hour film festival.
Okay.
Which is cool. Essentially, the premise of it is you have 48 hours to make an entire movie.
Wow.
From idea all the way to editing, chopping it, putting music, and submitting it.
Wow.
The only thing they give you is kind of a little bit of like constraints. So they give you like a genre. So I drew Jack Nicholson. There was a bunch of actors on a table, and we just had to go up and like select. And this was the way of like random generating it. It was kind of fun. And on the back, we got found footage, and screwball comedy. But it was really cool. It was really cool to just like put together a bunch of family and friends. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. It was very stressful.
Yeah.
It was you're making a movie in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So like these are things that usually take. I mean, it's a short film, right? It's up to 7 minutes, but nonetheless, it's still these things take weeks usually, if not months, if not sometimes years. And you're doing it in 2 days without even having an idea. You have to come up with the idea within the 48 hours and then write the script within 48 hours.
Oh wow.
So, but yeah, it was a cool experience. It was really fun. Got to learn a lot. And I got to just like hang out with a bunch of friends and do cool stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube right now. I'll give you the link and you can put it if you want.
How do you stay motivated in an industry like the film industry with its uncertainties and all that?
Yeah, it's hard. I'm somebody that started caring about wanting to work in what the like layman's terms is of like the entertainment or the film industry.
Yeah.
At 28 or at 29.
Well.
Have you ever heard of like big fish, small pond?
No.
Small fish, big pond? I don't know. You could probably look up like where it comes from, but there's like a theory, right? Where it's like, if you're a big fish in a small pond, you're going to eat a lot, right? You're going to eat up all the work. But the growth is only as big as your pond, right? So you're kind of stuck. So for example, like if I wanted to be a filmmaker in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, right? I would be the guy, but it would take me so much longer to grow because I'm only as busy as the middle of nowhere, Nebraska is.
Yeah.
Versus small fish, big pond. While there is a bigger space to grow, there are so many other fish in the pond taking up the work.
Yeah.
Right? And so your competition is a lot higher.
Yeah.
And so in moving to LA, I think it's accelerated my growth. I kind of look at it as like we've been here almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
And I look at it as 4 years of college. Right?
Wow.
But I learned more, I think, in 4 years than I would have learned in 8 years in Miami. One, because of competition.
Yeah.
And just like the people around you are just that much better. Everyone has gotten a better head start. There's kids out here that are 18 or 19 years old going to AFI, like American Film Institute, for $180,000 for the 2 years and coming out and shooting narrative projects.
Wow.
And like shorts and features, and they're coming out with like big actors in their movies.
Yeah.
I recently just read something that was there's a little bit of a spark, an inspiration, and Kayla has kind of helped me through this as well. It's just like, number one, they're not you. You know what I mean? And if anybody that has made it were to ever think the same things, they would never make it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, they're not you. Just take your path, and if your path leads there, it leads there. But you have to put in your work, and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Yeah.
He's like, and you just think that like because some people who are like 18 or whatever, like you were saying, that make it out of college and start their their careers or whatever. You think that you're supposed to do it at that age, or you're supposed to get married at this age, or you're supposed to have kids at this age, whatever. And it's like, it's not a set time. You said that you are really into YouTube. Do you have any YouTubers that you are like a fan of, or like that you like really like to watch?
I consume YouTube as like school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like my go-to school for anything and everything. It's been like that for me for the last like 15, almost 20 years now. So like currently, just a lot of like filmmaking stuff, but from a less of a level on how to make YouTube videos and more of a level of like trying to listen to people that are like in the industry.
Yeah.
Some podcasts on YouTube. A lot of my podcasts that I consume are on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I just try to find a lot of stuff where people are talking about like do's and don'ts of the industry, how to get into film festivals, what does it take to be in a film festival. And then I would say on the back end of that, my like entertainment, like consumption side.
Yeah.
A lot of podcasts. I watch Colin and Samir. They're really good. They have a podcast and they also have like a YouTube channel, and they just talk about like being a creator, but they interview a lot of creators, so you get to see like the back end of things and the business side of things.
Yeah.
Some people I work for, I think they have a good podcast called The Yard.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would recommend that to your audience because they're very raunchy and like not safe for work, but they are very funny. It is a comedy podcast. I also watch Flagrant, which is another comedy podcast. A lot of comedy podcasts.
Yeah.
I think I'm funny.
You think you're funny? You're funny. For the most part.
Unusual chatter.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, no, you said that you watch for like YouTube University. I tried to YouTube University a lot of my life, but I can't. I've learned that about myself, that I can't YouTube University it. I have to have a physical person sitting there like showing me it face to face, like for Ableton, for bass lessons, for whatever it is, drum lessons. It has to be face to face so I can see your hands moving or see your whatever moving, and then you show me, I should do it, and then you're like, no, this is not the right way, do it this way, tweak that, tweak this.
I wonder if that's like being a little sister.
Maybe.
Like if I'm trying to like relate it, right?
Yeah.
So like I grew up mostly an only child.
Yeah.
Like with like single mom for a part of my life. And so like a lot of stuff like I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Just like being handed a thing and just like, oh, figure this thing out.
Yeah.
But I see similar kind of like what you're saying right now, I kind of get back from my little sister as well. In that like there's been a lot of moments where I've had to like tell her and like teach her like, hey, like you got to figure things out on your own sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you don't need somebody like side by side with you, because like ultimately like as dark as it may be, like if mom and dad pass away tomorrow, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You know what I mean? How are you going to be self-sufficient?
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, because I wonder if that's what that is. Because I've seen it a lot. I've been friends with a lot of middle children my whole life. It's really weird. But there's like a lot of middle child like syndrome like theories and like psychology things, and just like it's just very interesting.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's what that is. It's like when you're a younger sibling, you're always so used to like looking up to your little sibling and like how they do, or your older sibling and how they do things.
Yeah.
And it's like even if they're not like walking you through it, you're used to like having that person in the room.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's what that is.
I
don't know. I'm just theory crafting.
Maybe. I would love to have twins one day.
I don't know about that.
Everybody thinks I'm psycho for that, but
Kayla wants quints.
What? What's quints? 4?
Quints.
4?
Quads is 4.
Quints is what? 6?
5.
5?
I think.
At once?
You ever seen the movie Quints?
At 5? At once?
Disney Channel. DCOM.
No. 5
Quints.
at once?
Yeah. Just that. It's like.
No. No. We're not doing 5 at once. Listen,
You never seen the Optimus Prime stroller?
Absolutely.
It kind of looks like cheerleaders like doing a pyramid.
What? If I ever saw y'all come out the house with 5 kids at one time.
You don't leave the house with 5 kids. You can have 5 kids, but with 5 kids of the exact same age.
But how do you have...
It's like a hive mind.
How do you have 5 kids in your stomach at one time?
Yeah.
Can you even have 5 kids in your stomach at
People
one time?
have done it.
Kate plus 8. Does she have 8 kids in her stomach at once?
No, that's crazy. That's like a dog. Dogs sometimes have 9. That's crazy.
That's a dog. Oh my god. No, I
was gonna make a joke.
I could have sworn she would have had 8 kids.
Maybe. That's crazy.
No, she didn't. No, man.
It's back to back. Yeah, Quince, but that's a movie.
So but can you have 5 kids in your stomach?
I don't know. I can't. I know that.
That's what frustrates me. That men can't have kids. That makes me mad. Like
I could try. Unusual chatter.
Okay, so we're back, and Mochi, our lovely dog, has joined us with her bed. She insisted on having her bed here, so she said she doesn't work without comfort. So, anyways, Paul.
See.
What? I have a random question for you. You were trying to think of something to say in Spanish. You said, see. All right, random question. Do you wash your rice?
Yes.
Is that good for the rice?
Is that good for the rice? Expound on that.
Like, is that good for the rice taste? Like, why do you wash your rice? What's the point of that?
Do you like dirt in your rice?
There's dirt in the rice?
Yeah, where do you think rice comes from? Genuine question. Have you seen what a rice patty looks like?
Rice? Wait, I don't want to sound stupid.
Okay.
People are gonna be like,
Go ahead.
I think rice comes from like a bean or something.
A rice comes from a bean. So you have the rice of the bean with your beans and rice.
Wait, no.
It's the rice of the bean.
Wait, a rice seed. It's a seed.
It's a grain.
Okay, so it's not from the ground. It can't come from the ground because it's going to grow up to be a flower? I know what I'm trying to say.
So yes, it comes from the ground.
No way.
On a plant.
You're a liar.
It's a grain.
It's a rice flower?
Pull up a picture here of a rice patty.
There's a rice flower?
So
it's just like...
Have you ever seen wheat?
What?
Wheat?
What's wheat?
What they make bread from.
What?
And not this cheddar, but what they make bread from. Rice patties, they're like these big fields, and they soak them with water like ankle high.
The only rice patties I know is those circle things at Publix that you put peanut butter on top.
What's Publix? We don't have Publix here.
What y'all got them? What y'all got that? What?
We got Vaughn's.
No, y'all got that
and
white.
Ralph's. All of our places are named after people. Vaughn and Ralph.
That's Ralph. Who's Vaughn?
Vaughn is Ralph's brother.
Okay. Does Vaughn or Ralph have a rice patty with peanut butter on top?
You're thinking of rice cakes.
That's what I said.
Quaker cakes. But yes. So anyways, rice is dirty. You have to wash your rice. It comes from a field. The same way you should wash your produce or your vegetables. It gets picked from a field, gets put into a bag, and then sent to the store.
See, I was gonna go on a whole tangent with that. I wash my like fruit and stuff like that, but I don't like people like wash it with like the vinegar or the bleach or whatever.
That's you don't wash it with bleach. Do not do that. Please don't do that.
Vinegar, like all the stuff, and then they put it in like the shaker thing, the spinner.
That's some TikTok stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that because I'm not on TikTok.
Well, get on TikTok. We're done with that. Moving on to a little bit more deeper topic. How did you meet my sister?
We both used to work at a church in South Florida, on the video team, and yeah, that's kind of how we met. She was technically my boss.
Dang.
So dating the boss.
Got him.
Swag.
Boss.
People still say swag?
No.
Swag.
No. Swag.
Justin Bieber for a bit was saying swaggy, and I was down with that.
How did you know my sister was the one?
You know, I guess like in all seriousness, I think we both came from like very similar pasts in terms of like relationships and like hurt relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just early on we really had like that conversation about like what do we want?
Yeah.
What are we looking for?
Yeah.
What are we moving towards? In all seriousness, I think that is, I think we were super aligned on that. I think her morals, her values, her beliefs, and the way she carries herself as a person was probably the most attractive thing to me. Very selfless person, almost sometimes too much, to the point of I think it gets her in trouble, especially at work. She takes on too much on her plate. And yeah, so it was I think it was something along those lines of realizing where I was at, realizing kind of what God had brought to me, I guess, in that moment, without getting too churchy.
Yeah.
And I think we were what I don't know if she said this on her episode, but I think it's what we both needed in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it was a right place, right time.
I know that you guys got married during COVID,
yeah.
during 2020, and obviously that had a lot of challenges on its own, and you guys also moved during that time.
Yeah.
You moved around a lot. You guys moved
twice in 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah. So what challenges did that bring, getting married and moving during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know COVID was going to happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, your dad is a pastor and was able to officiate our wedding safely in the midst of COVID. We got engaged in January of 2020 in Japan. We were on a trip there together, and I proposed to Kayla there in Japan. And so we were debating of what we were going to do, because when we got back, like I said, it wasn't too serious back in Florida just yet, or even in America. There was a couple cases here and there that were throughout the states. So we were still looking at wedding venues and starting the whole process, as you do as an engaged couple, trying to figure out the whole wedding planning process. And a lot of venues wanted a lot of money up front. And then as COVID started to get worse, a lot of places wouldn't even consider talking about having a wedding. So I guess with my tech savviness and my streaming background and past, I set up a little live stream on Twitch on a private account, and we had your dad come and officiate it in my apartment. We all COVID tested before we did it, and we live streamed it to our family and friends. And it was cool. I mean, it was interesting. We have video footage of it, which is cool. We didn't spend any money, which is also super cool. So we're just not in debt. And then, yeah, it just it presented its own set of issues. I was working for a gaming company at the time, remote. So prior to COVID, I would just travel to events, and I would film some of their players. We would do documentaries and stuff on them. And there was an opportunity for us to move to Las Vegas. Came up around June or July of 2020. And Kayla and I kind of talked about it, and we're maybe this is something new. It's a new chapter. We both agreed, I think, that we wanted to kind of start our lives fresh. An opportunity came up to do that. It wasn't something that we were really seeking after. It literally just came out of the blue. There was a meeting that they had, and they were we need somebody to move to Vegas. Do you want to do it? So we moved to Vegas, and I was pulled into a meeting where my employer essentially told me that because of COVID and the amount of money that they have lost as a remote gaming company, that I may not have a job in January. We had two options. Come back home and figure it out, or take this situation and move forward, right? And try something different.
Yeah.
So I hit up a bunch of people that I know on Twitter, in the gaming content video space. And a friend of mine was hey, if you can move to LA tomorrow, I can have a job for you. I just got this head of content position, and we're hiring out. And so we just took a leap, we took a risk. So we literally packed everything up. We broke our lease for a big hefty fee. We packed a U-Haul, and me, Kayla, and my cousin drove from Vegas to LA.
I was talking to Kayla yesterday, yesterday. I was talking to Kayla yesterday in the car, and we were talking about how sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith and see what happens. Because I was telling her, I was I kind of just want to move. I want to move out. I want to see what the world has to offer. She's like, you got to start thinking about those things and, thinking about that because, I can't always, live with my parents, you're getting older. You got to start thinking about moving out and all that. And I was just like, I really would love to move to LA. I would love to move to like, maybe Nashville or Texas or something like that. And she was like, first, what do those things have to offer? What do those places have to offer you and all that? But, what's stopping you? And I was just like, that's true. What's stopping me? Like, just do it.
Yeah.
But I'm so scared of like, well, I don't have the money, or I don't have this, I don't have that. I don't know people. And it's like, sometimes you just got to take the risk and you just see what happens. And it's like, I hear people who tell stories where they're like, I left and moved to California with $12 in my pocket. And I'm like, how did you do it? How did you do it with $12 in your pocket?
I mean, there's risks and then there's like calculated risks.
Yeah.
Right. And like a saying that we always say to like ourselves, like Kayla and I, is just like, there are dumber people out there.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And figuring it out. So it's like, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's just, what are you willing to sacrifice for that? Right. Like, are you willing to work at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
Are you willing to work at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
If that is the case and you have a goal set in mind of like, let's say you want to be a makeup person on film sets, right? Don't move to Nebraska.
Yeah.
You're not going to find work.
Yeah.
You may find work, but it's going to take a while. If you want to be a makeup person on film sets in LA, again, big fish, small pond, like looping it back to that.
Yeah.
There are a billion film sets happening every day in LA. So you can fake your way if you start doing makeup at home and start hitting up people on social media saying, hey, I'll come out for $200 to come do makeup on a set. You do one set, then you work onto another set, and then you start working onto another set. That's a calculated risk, I think. And, for us, it was like, I want to work in film. I'm currently working in film in gaming.
Yeah.
And LA is an epicenter of gaming.
Yeah.
A lot of professional gaming happens here in LA. A lot of the companies are here based in LA. So it was more of a calculated risk of like, I knew I would have work. I knew if the company that I was getting a job with didn't work out, there were a plethora of other companies that were here that I could jump to and slowly work my way up and grow, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's like cliche to say, but it's like, do it now while you're young because like you still have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have to go back home, you still can. There's still an opportunity to do that before our parents get too old. And so it's like, yeah, figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, what are you willing to sacrifice to make that thing happen?
Yeah, that's true. What's life teaching you right now?
I think life is teaching me the most right now is that not everybody will be for you, and that's okay. I think for a long time, I like have wanted to not make people dislike me. Not in the way of like trying to be popular or like have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But I've always just like had this thing of like trying to do right by people as much as possible.
Yeah.
Do as cliche as it sounds, like do the right thing, invest in people, and then you can do anything.
Yeah.
And that showed, like with our 48-hour film festival, like we had 28 people show up for free, like to be crew. I had a camera donated. That's a $70,000 camera donated to me for free from a rental house. Shout out D Haven Camera. But I've invested in people and I've invested in relationships, and it's paid itself out.
Yeah.
But in turn, when you do that, and then people hurt you or backstab you, it hurts almost more.
Yeah.
Because you expected what you have been giving out to at least be given back.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think this year specifically, I think a big lesson I've just been learning is like, it's okay if people don't like you, or it's okay if people are trying to use you, because it will happen.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's like, keep your head down, do your work. And eventually, like, people's true colors show anyway. Yeah. And so, and I would say the second lesson is really just been like, stay diligent. I think nowadays it's really easy to get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the people that are great at what they do were great because they got distracted the least. I think people put a lot of like weight in like luck. They put a lot of weight in like talent, but I think it's more than anything, it's distraction.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's focus.
Yeah.
I think if somebody's putting 18 hours a day into something, they're more likely to succeed at it than somebody that's putting half an hour.
Wow.
But an idea of it for 18 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. What's something that keeps you grounded and stress-free?
Grounded and stress-free. For sure my wife. I think that's one. I come home panicked or stressed that somebody thinks X, Y, and Z about me, right? Or like these people are pitting me against each other. And I think she definitely grounds my mental.
Yeah.
And keeps me, I guess, stabilized, maybe is the word.
Yeah.
Or brings me back to like a neutral zone to be able to think clearly.
Yeah.
As far as like extracurricularly, it's like I play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like it allows me to de-stress and like get away from thinking about film 24/7. Because if it were up to me, I think the complicated situation that I have right now, and this is kind of like a gift and a curse, is when you work in the thing that you love, your hobbies become work. So you're always working, right? Even in your brain, like even if you're not working, you're studying about how to be better at this thing.
Oh my gosh.
Or you're trying to learn about something else about this thing, or you're trying to meet other people to talk about this thing. And so you're always working, right?
Yeah.
And then you run into this like scenario where when you're not doing that, you feel like you're wasting your time because you should be learning about the thing that you care so much about, right? So it's this like vicious circle and cycle. And so yeah, so I mean, I think it's healthy and it's okay to like do other things.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they merge. Like I make music on the side, like for fun. And it worked out when I was doing the 48 because I was able to open Ableton and like make a score and like put that stuff together. I listened to a comedy podcast once, and the comedian that was on there spoke about something that she likes to do is to have a hobby that, one, you never tell anybody about. Like there's like 3 rules to it. One, you never tell anybody about it ever. Even if you're like I had this side Instagram account right now for like a music like thing that I have been working on for like the last like 5 years.
Really?
That is like I don't share with anybody. Nobody knows I have it. Nobody knows what it's called. It's just like an Instagram profile that I will post music to, and like it just goes, and like I let it live in the world. I don't check on it. I don't do it for anything other than that. But the first rule is like, yeah, you don't tell anybody about this hobby. It is strictly like a hobby that you do. Second, you don't do it for any monetary gain or for money at all. It is strictly something that you just do because you do it. Whether that's like woodworking or like chiseling. Like you make wood chiseled sculptures on the side, and it just, nobody knows that you do it.
Yeah.
And the third is that you work on it at least once a day, every day.
Wow.
And it's just like a helpful way to like clear your mind. So yeah, so it's been that's been like an interesting thing. So it's like right now it's just like I try to make music on the side. I just recently got like a turntable from my dad. My dad's like a DJ similar to like your dad.
Yeah.
And so I've just been doing really crappy DJ mixes at night for Kayla. And she's like, yeah, don't change that song. Next song.
Please stop. What's a goal you're going after right now?
I had a goal this year, and I think that goal, I think it's, I'm fighting with right now the fact that goal will not be achieved. Strictly based on life. Things happen. We got COVID this year for the first time in 4 years, and we were sick for 21 days.
Wow.
Actively sick, like not just only testing positive. And so that really set me back. But my original goal this year was to do 4 narrative projects. Whether that be a short film, whether that be an interview, like just 2 people having a dialogue, whether that be a scene from a movie or a trailer. But it was going to be a narrative project that didn't have a script, that I like wrote and put the script together,
Yeah.
and then made that thing happen.
Yeah. How do you plan on achieving that goal?
Still taking the same steps, right? So it's like fighting the imposter syndrome that there's like a billion kids out there now that are wanting to make short films. Ignoring all of that and putting my head to the paper, writing things, getting them done, making them, and then submitting them into festivals and just taking the proper paths that I know will take. And if the doors are meant to open for me and people are meant to see it, then they will.
Yeah.
But at least putting in the legwork beforehand to make sure that I can at least be prepared for when that opportunity comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We were glad that you joined us and hung out with us and talked to us and just talked about your life and spilled everything. You know, you didn't have to.
The only thing I didn't spill was the rice of the bean.
You know what? I'm telling you, rice doesn't grow out of the ground. It's not the point. Whatever. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Till then, watch our episodes 1 through 7. Stay blessed. Don't stress. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Woogity,
Peace
woogity,
out.
woogity, woogity.
What? Woogity what?
You don't.
What?
You don't know.
I don't. No rocket power.
Unusual chatter.
Okay, that's enough.